So this morning I got my information packet. It's sort of like being handed the memos by Source God. We all get it that way. They're in ahas, kind of groks, old word. Modern day jargon would be download. We get an instant, okay, I got that. I can see all that. And then you can flesh it out. Or, that's how consciousness talks to each other. It talks in instant transference. Not even frequency and light. It actually talks with instant consciousness packets. Consciousness is omnipresent in all places at once. It is beyond the 0 point. It is what's behind the door of the 0 point. It is instantly omnipresent everywhere, forever and ever, outside of time. You can call that God, but it's also you. So once we start being willing to re-access some of these abilities, we can know all things under heaven and earth without going out of our door, like Lao Tzu says. So this morning, an instant aha for me is about emotional transparency and honesty and openness. Emotional honesty. This is the scariest place. It's also the place where you cannot hide at all. And I'm going to give some examples so you get the sense of what I'm saying. The little boy in The Emperor Has No Clothes is the emotional honesty. The story, Hans Christian Andersen, I think, story, or not the brothers, Hans Christian Andersen, Danish writer. Everyone's lying. Basically, the whole kingdom currently are Washingtonian, the political, military, industrial complex, and everybody's colluding on lying to each other. We have reached, obviously, what Shakespeare says, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave," when at first we go down that rabbit hole and practice to deceive. That's where we're at. Wives and husbands can't be emotionally honest with each other, right? Men and women can't do it. We can't tell our teachers, our authorities. Authorities can't be honest with us. It goes both ways. Instead of just blaming Washington, horrible Obama, Bush, the Bush-Bama, these guys are horrible. Instead of blaming, blame is lame, they can't be honest with us. They wouldn't get elected. So it goes two ways. We want the lies. We don't want to know the truth. I don't want to see, hear, no evil, So emotional honesty is the place that will set you free. That's why every teacher says this. Jesus says it clearly. Buddha, all of them. Unless you become as little children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Pretty clear, 2 sentences. Unless you do this, you're not going back to pure innocence, to pure grace, to your original state, beyond time, i.e. no aging. Kids come in that way, and that's why their skin glows and they're full of the recently come from heaven baked feeling, just fresh out of the oven of heaven as they reincarnate. Puppies and kids. And then the tangled web of this shit that we weave is what causes our death. Emotional honesty is going to trigger the crap out of you and whoever you're with. It's going to trigger all the layers, the compacted layers. Let's go with another Hans Christian Andersen story. The 13 mattresses that the princess and the princess can't sleep, she can't rest, she has no peace. Because there's a little pea, tiny pea, a hard pea, hasn't been boiled yet, peas are, right? She keeps putting mattresses on it. Denials. Let's take a different drug. Let's get busy working. Let's become a shopaholic. Let's prove myself to the world because my daddy didn't think I could. Blah, blah, blah. We put all these mattresses on. You still can't sleep at night. You need to take Ambien and Lunesta and take drugs to get you to sleep. You cannot outrun this stuff. You have to deal with the irritant. And this happens through emotional honesty. With yourself. Now this is very difficult because we are addicts. Now getting emotionally honest is very difficult because we are literally like heroin addicts. We've become so addicted to the tangled web we weave that if someone is actually emotionally transparent and honest with you, you will label them as naive and stupid, absolutely idiotic, or you'll get very, very angry. When the little boy says, "Daddy," because basically, if the story of the little emperor has no clothes is the tailor, Mr. Tailor to the king, which is a big thing, by the way, all over in Europe, is whoever got the commission to make coffee, to build hats, to do whatever, to, you know, I've been commissioned to the king. Every business would put that on their logos, that I've been approved by the king. Instead of what we do in the U.S., we don't believe in kings, so it's like NASA used Tang, NASA used our stuff, the space program. That's sort of like the space age technology is how we do it. So the tailor to the king has run out of material, and he's freaking out because I can't do that. I have an appointment with the king. I can't tell him I didn't order the stuff, and so he has to cover it up. He starts practicing the deceptive tangled web of deception. He said, and he just has this freaked out, spontaneous ideas. I'll just pretend there's material there, and then I'll get it next week. And so he starts pretending. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at this. And he's like, and the king goes, oh, I can see it too. Yeah, because the king doesn't want to look stupid. The king doesn't want to tell the truth to power, to his own power, to the collective power. One of the deepest fears humans have is of not being approved of, looking stupid in front of the crowd. Right? So everyone starts, and then the king's courtiers and the court come in and he goes, look at my clothes. And they all start going into this mass hallucination. It's a perfect story of what we've done in our cult, our culture. So everyone goes along with it. Till finally the king is walking down months later after all the garments, the imaginary garments. The whole society's gone insane. That's exactly where we're at today. He's walking down in the parade. And it takes one little boy. Read the story. The emperor has no clothes. The fucking emperors have no clue. Do you think medical doctors have a clue about consciousness? Of course not. You think military advisors know about peace? Of course not. You think lawyers know about it, working things out without going to battle in courts? No, they have the adversarial system. No one teaches us, right? So this is the system at the moment. Takes a little boy go, Daddy, the emperor has no clothes. That unsnaps the hypnosis that everybody's in. That innocent, transparent, emotionally honest, the boy is still feeling his direct insides, his direct inner vision, his inner connection. He's not hypnotized by I have to fit in and go along with the herd. That snaps everybody out of it. Now in our current society, if someone starts speaking like that, most of the crowd turns on him. The crowd turned on Jesus, on Buddha, on Krishna, on all of them, right? Not with Krishna so much. He was actually a king, right? And not with King Arthur. But when you come at it directly, whether it's a new anything, chemtrails are happening or whatever, anything new scares the herd mentality. I was just looking yesterday that Lord Kelvin was the head of the Royal Society in England, in 1890, whatever, right? That's the authority. That's the czar of science for the whole world. He decides what's true or not. He declared in 1890 or something, 1905, heavier than air flight, meaning be able to fly airplanes, is impossible. It is simply against nature and God's laws. The head authority declared that. Well, that's the truth. Even after the Wright brothers flew their airplane at Kitty Hawk for 20 miles, 40 kilometers, or 25 miles, 40 kilometers. Witnesses, photographic, people taking photographs. Scientific American, who is the authority, kind of like the Pope is the authority, right? But the Scientific American, right? Wrote an article after he had done it and said, this is ridiculous. And here's the usual argument. Since there's so many of us that want this solution, why wouldn't it be openly happening in front of all of us? Surely he's making this up, and this reporter that's supposedly reporting on it plays Santa Claus. They compared his discovery to believing in Santa Claus. Scientific American, after they had done it, flown the airplane, Kitty Hawk. Of course, later, they're in the history books, they're worshipped, all that shit. But while it's happening, it's too scary for the crowd. The cattle are too scared. The sheeple are too scared That's how it works. So accepting that, of course it's, annoying, but that's how it is, right? So this emotional honesty of the little boy breaks the spell. Unless you become as him, Jesus says, you can't enter back into the no-time space, into the pure direct experience, trusting your own experience, getting real to heal. Now this is a very tricky area, because we have been so addicted to not being real. If you start to try to go instantly real, from 0 to 100, you're going to create massive disruption in your life. If you get that real, you're going to get underneath all the mattresses of hidden deception and numbing, and I want to be sedated, and I don't want to be real, and you're going to get under it and start pushing up on all of it. It's all going to come puking up. It has to come out of your literal cells. It has to come out of your energy field for you to go back to the state of innocence, the state of grace, that Jesus is in, that Krishna walks in, that Babaji is in, that Archangel Michael is in, that Mataji is in, that Saint Teresa is in, that Kuan Yin is living, embodying fully. This is the only journey home. No one comes back to oneness except doing what I have done. No one comes unto the Father but through deconstructing the religionist crap that gets a hold around Jesus, because Jesus is still the default religion. When you drive into a town in America, it's about churches. You don't see, the pagan church, the Muslim church. You don't see that. You might say it, but mostly it's, here's all the Christian churches. So we need to undo that. No one comes into the Father except through me. Meaning, you can't go back to the oneness, Father, Mother, Source, all that is, except going through yourself. Getting back to the little boy's emotional honesty. Truth-telling. Now this is so scary because your feelings are in your heart and your solar plexus. Now if you try telling this to people that want to sedate themselves and not feel anything, they're going to flip on you at a certain point. We are so stuck in it that people will literally have blackout, flip-out episodes. I mean, we even, when people drink, they have blackout episodes. When they, I went blinded with rage. When you try to get the rage out, people will flip into the other personality. This is why the young Mormon, beautiful, perfect guy who works at the church, everybody loves him, snaps one night and stabs his wife 135 times. And he doesn't remember doing it. This is literally where humans are at right now. We have so much trapped, so many mattresses of sedation and suppression and repression sitting in our subconscious that you got to open it carefully. Pandora's box, you can't let it all out at once. Emotional honesty will look something like this morning. The dogs were not minding me because a big dog was walking by, and I got triggered by that. Disappointment, sadness, because I've been training them. And then I have a feeling about that joy is not helping me, right? But it's not. That's the surface feeling. So then I've learned the hard way, right? 3,000 lifetimes of trying to figure this shit out. Let me feel the feeling. Okay, it's not about the dog. It's not about that. That's the toothpaste on the toothbrush that falls off one morning and you start cursing God, right? It's just the symptom. Nothing works for me. It's not about what triggered that feeling. It's about where that comes from, other lifetimes, other imprints. So you have to go into it. You keep your breathing open. You feel your heart and your solar plexus. That's more courageous than going off to war and shooting each other in the head. The inner worlds, the inner demons, inner patterns, that's the real courage. It's easy to run off and go off on a crusade. I'm going to fix it out here in the outer world because I am so freaking scared of looking at my own inner world. That's 90%, 95% of what humans do. Something so bad happened to our family, we have to start the foundation for whatever. Yeah, you didn't actually go through all the feelings inside yourself, so now you created a law that everyone gets to shake their, pat themselves on the back that actually creates more oppression on the planet. Everyone has to put up full pool fences around their own private pools. The government encroaches on your own private lives because if it will just save one life, it's all worth it. What a bunch of horse shit. If that was true, alcohol would be outlawed. Cars kill 50,000 people a year. They would be outlawed. So that's just a convenient, emotional, twisted half-truth that is used to alleviate guilt. Now that statement I just said, you're going to have to deconstruct to really get all the implications of it. So emotional honesty. I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling triggered, I'm feeling attacked, and of course the layers of suppression are, oh, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. And this is the only safe place. Feeling, in my book of verse, Shackled Gods, that I wrote during this last huge, big night of the dark night of the soul for me, that changed my life. Kundalini awakening, changed reality, literally being able to see and talk to other dimensions and so forth. Feeling is foremost, and for most of us, feeling is foremost a terrifying thing. Yet it's the only place where both God and human can sing. This is the only way. The only way to to God's source is through me. You are the 7 churches, the 7 temples in the book of Revelation. The 7 churches are your chakras. You have to go inward. The kingdom of heaven is within, as within, so without. This is my repeated, of course, message, right? Over and over again, because it's the only thing that's going to change the planet. Individuals changing. 1,000 awake Buddhas on this planet. We're done. It's over. It's already over. Management team had to step in and help us. We're not going to destroy the planet. But there's going to be a lot of gnashing of teeth, a lot of long suffering still, because we're going to try to avoid doing this simple thing, which is to turn and face myself. How am I really feeling? Most people I work with, I can't get people to feel. Well, actually, people that come to me usually have been through the shit kicker, and if they're attracted to my work, they are ready to feel. But still there's a large amount of people that, for most, feeling is foremost a terrifying thing. We are terrified of our feelings. Emotional honesty of a child. Honey, that hurt me. Or, I felt hurt. But not blame me. See, it gets very tricky here. You hurt me. No. The feeling of hurt is arising in me. Owning your feeling. No one can make you feel anything. They can trigger stuff that's already in you. Right? Yes, people can make you feel things. But to blame them for your feelings, that's the blame game. That's what's got to stop. And we're trying to sedate them with all the big pharma. Big pharma is not evil. They're just supplying what we want. If people didn't buy the drugs, they wouldn't make them. If you didn't fall for what the doctor said, you wouldn't take that psychotropic drug, psychoactive drug. Quit blaming them. Yes, be outraged and angry. It is criminal. It is horrible that, they make money off of this, like selling kids dope. And Big Pharma is actually, of course, killing a lot more people than heroin and whatever else is. Of course. Point that out. Emotional honesty is the way. Peeling those layers, if you want to a return to innocence, a return to grace. Is that tough? Yes. Last couple of years, when you hit that place for people all want spiritual awakening now. I want to do spiritual. Oh, I have to actually look at myself. I think I need a new teacher. Or the mind is so strong and so good. Blame. I've had several people, God's been showing me this, source, God, my own higher self, same thing, that just get triggered. They have to make me the bad guy. Because emotional honesty is the most terrifying thing. Makes us truly naked. You can go be a porn star, fuck in front of millions of people. That's easier than getting naked emotionally. Emotional openness is the way home. Now be gradual, be careful, ask God, so show me where to start. A septic person is not going to run a marathon the next day. Most of us are literally septic, meaning full of infections, full of little wounds, emotional wounds, because no one ever showed us how to do it. Right? But even if you're super toxic and 400 pounds overweight, you start juicing and greens and all, it's all going to, your body can recover very, very quickly. So can your emotional and spiritual energies. When you said that, honey, the feeling that got triggered in me, I'm feeling triggered right now. If you and a partner get on that, I'm feeling triggered right now. What you said triggered me. I feel inadequate. I feel you like them better. I feel stupid. I feel embarrassed. I feel vulnerable. This is where your freedom is going to come. This is where your freedom is going to come. Emotional honesty. I'm pissed. That's triggering rage in me. Find a way without actually killing people, because the only reason we have wars is because we have millions of people that have suppressed their rage. It has to go somewhere. It's the game of whack-a-mole. You push down here, it goes up here. The only reason there's war in Iran is because of you. I hope I'm not prophesying that. The only reason there's war in Iraq is because of you suppressing your shit inside your subconscious. Sitting in your country club or in your, we're the 99%, but I want to blame the banksters, but I don't want to actually look at myself. You're equally at fault for it. The banksters and the 99%. Unless you step out of the game and are willing to heal yourself, you're part of the problem. You are in the polarity, dichotomy, battle, this versus that, divided and conquered. I want to heal myself. I want to heal myself. So find someone, or most people aren't going to understand it, if they're not on that wavelength. They're still into repress and suppress and avoid and deny. Plausible denial, how can we get away with it? Washington style. Plausible denial, what happened? We don't care about the truth. How can we massage it with our image consultants to make sure it plays in Poughkeepsie and Peoria, that the masses or asses believe what we're saying? Okay, that world is still going on. It's dying, thankfully, and there's a new world of emotional honesty it's rising up. So if you can find a partner that you can do that, and don't go too fast. This is huge stuff. You are dealing with eons, lifetimes of suppressed stuff. You can't ask someone who's been addicted to heroin to the next day, that's, be all done. No, it takes a process. It might take years for you. Is it worth it? Totally worth it. Does it get better? Yes. At first it's going to look like it's getting worse, because you're living here in a false paradise. First you need to frickin' get real. And then you need to build on have a new foundation in actual direct connectedness to Source God. Like the little boy in The Emperor Has No Clothes. Actually be able to learn